Hi everybody, Sam Norris here. Welcome to my second video in our journey towards getting an asset base of 100,000 liquid assets. This video is about targets, most importantly savings targets, looking at ways of actually starting to put money aside towards those goals, because we're not going to be able to regularly put money into a pot. We're never going to get to that six figures that we need. Okay, so first thing that we need to look at is our expenditure. I do this every month anyway. You should be doing this as a matter of course just for your own personal finances, but you need to be going through every single bill, every single statement that you get, credit card, debit card, bank account, whatever. Get them all in front of you, and you need to itemize every single expenditure. So you need to be looking for, your £3 lattes from Cafe Nero in the morning, your £5 Pret lunches, your monthly food bills when you go to the supermarkets, to Waitrose, wherever. You need to be looking at all of your expenditure in terms of Sky, Netflix, all of these other things. You need to be itemizing absolutely everything, and you know what, maybe even go back a couple of months as well, so you can check which months are the ones that you're spending too much on. Now once you've got all this information together, you can really clearly see what your overall expenditure is. Most people spend more per month than they actually earn incredibly, and that's why their credit card bills get bigger and bigger and bigger without them even really realizing it. So first and foremost, know how much is going out. Then we start cutting back, okay? We look at how much we're spending on food, lunches, all of these things. The most important thing to cut back on straight away is things like your Sky bills, your Netflix, whatever it might be. Sky, give them a call, renegotiate or cancel, just get it off. Get as much off as you possibly can and reduce your overall expenditure. If, like me, when I did this a little while back, I realised I was spending a stupid amount on food and socialising each month. Cap it. Look at what your expenditure is and cap it each month. What I think is a really great thing to do that is to go out and get yourself a charge card. These are like credit cards, but at the beginning of each month when you pay, you put a specific amount on them. £300 for food, I don't know, whatever it might be that fits within your budget, and you do not go over that limit. That card is there specifically just for you to use for that part of your expenditure. So you get a cap on that and you reduce as much as you possibly can. Now, one other good thing with this to control this is actually making sure that you've got two bank accounts. One which is the one that you daily expenditure, and the other one is where all your bills come out of. So have a bank account. Your money from your employment goes in there, and you know what your credit card bill is, what your standing orders are, all that sort of stuff, and you make sure that the same day or the day after, that money just gets out of your account, okay? You know then the pot that's surplus, okay? If you're gonna go down the charge card routine, and I think you should, the money comes straight out and onto that as well. There's gonna be a surplus left at the end of the month. That's what you can start putting away and what you can start saving, okay? So the next thing is obviously how much you're earning, okay? So some of you might be in jobs where you're just on a flat wage per year. The thing, unless you're in a job where you're earning commission or you have the ability to have additional income that corresponds to how well you perform in that job, you are always going to be poor. It's going to be so much harder to get to that, to being able to put money away. So that's the next thing. Get into a job where your earnings are attributed to how well you perform in that job. That might be sales. I work in property finance. If I do a good job for a client, then I will be paid for doing so on top of the standard basic salary that I get. The better I do, the harder I work at my job, the more hours I put in, the more earning potential I can have, which means that when it comes to the end of the month, hopefully that surplus is greater than it would have been the previous month and the month before that. Now, once we've got to that point, and we'll talk about strategies to earning more money, sales, all that kind of stuff in future videos, but it's just clear, to get it clear here, the two things that we're really, really talking about, and that's income and expenditure, reducing expenditure, increasing income, and the reason for that is so that surplus gets much, much bigger and so we can actually put away more money per month. The target for me is to try and get to 40% of my income per month goes into savings, and we'll talk about different ways of saving as well in future videos, but for the time being we're just talking about savings. Let's just start at the moment with looking at 5-10%, okay? Just look at how much your income is and try and be able to put away 5%. That's the target for the next week. Do the expenditure, check that, get rid of all the unnecessary expenditure, go remove temptation to overspend by putting money into separate accounts, and put away 5% of your income. That's not 5% of your surplus, that's 5% of your income, okay? And next month, see if you can increase that. If you felt comfortable, brilliant. Next month, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%, okay? And we're gonna get to the point where you can put away 40% each month. And we're gonna start talking about why it's so important to put money into savings, okay? There's a little word called compound, which is gonna become a really important word for you. So that's what we need to be getting to, okay? So just to summarize this particular video, what you need to be looking at over the next week is your income and your expenditure. Expenditure, itemize that, go through your bills and color code it and check what is unnecessary, okay? What are the bills what are you overspending on? What don't you need to do? Remember, it's gonna be hard to get to where we wanna go as quickly as we wanna do it. So we're gonna have to make some sacrifices. You're not gonna go on that holiday next year, unfortunately. You're just gonna have to, chill out with the missus at home. So that's what we're doing first and foremost. Expenditure first, itemize, reduce. Next thing is all about income, increasing that. You need to find a job that is going to pay you for what you do, not just a straight amount no matter what the hours that you do and how many sales you make, okay? So we're increasing income, reducing expenditure, making that surplus greater, and what we are doing is we are starting to look at our income and saving a percentage of it. 5% is the target for the first month. If you can do more, do it. And we're going to try and get that to 10% as quickly as we can, and ultimately to 40% and potentially even to beyond. But the reason why we're looking at high percentages, like I said, will be coming up in future videos when we start talking about how that compounds and how that works. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any comments at all, please leave them below. You can find me on Facebook, search for Sam Norris Property. I'm on there. Twitter, Sam's Mortgages. Instagram, Sam Norris. And on LinkedIn, search for Sam Norris as well, and you'll be able to find me on there. All of those channels, please comment, leave me a message, and I'll come back to you with any questions that you might have. Of course, hit subscribe, so next week when my next video comes out, you'll be able to check it out straight away. Thanks very much for watching, and good luck this week. We'll catch up next week. Thanks.